we have this thing, of course, going way back, which goes under the title of things like the divine right to rule. And what is that? That's the right to rule because of your bloodline, because of your DNA. And we have the ancient emperors of China claiming the right to be the ruler because of their descendants from the serpent gods. And the association between the serpent and the snake with royalty and royal families and royal bloodlines, just follow it back. And so you look at these royal bloodlines that have come through, because what happened is that there came a time when the human population started to reject overt, in-your-face dictatorship from royal bloodline. And that you had that move where this force, not entirely, not least in Britain, moved into what I call the dark suit professions of banking and business and all the rest of it, and politics, and have gone on manipulating from that point of view. But some of them survived, like the British royal family. Now, if you want to see a group of people that are so obsessed to the extreme, not just with hierarchy, but my goodness me, they are. The whole British class system, as they call it, is based on, obviously, hierarchy, which is based on the head of state being the Queen. But you want to see a group of people who are obsessed with ritualistic behaviour, look at the royal family. She goes to the same palace at Christmas. She goes to the same palace in the summer. She goes to the same palace in the spring, and so on. And if you look at the royal year, it's ritualistic. It's a hamster's wheel, repeating. And then, and we've seen in the week that we're talking,
60 years
the
Queen Elizabeth,
60th year on the throne, the Diamond Jubilee. It's really been in our face in the last few days, and I've watched as much as I can because I wanted to follow the ritual. But, you know, Britain is famous for what is called pomp and ceremony. You know, the guards in red jackets and black hats, need a haircut. Marching up, changing of the guard, and then you've got people in breeches and all this stuff. It's unbelievable. But it's not pomp and ceremony. It is ritual, repeating ritual. So if, I'm saying, and I've said for years and years and years, and I've been saying it this week as this has unfolded, that the British royal family, and the royal families of Europe too, but the British royal family is an expression of this hybrid bloodline which represents these other dimensional forces within human society. And I've described how these other dimensional forces operate, their mentality, how they structured. And you look at the British royal family alone, and it's absolutely a mirror of the very traits that the Gnostics, etc., have spoken of in terms of this archonic other dimensional force. So, it's very challenging, obviously, for people that have not researched this and not been through the experiences that I've been through in terms of things that I've seen and things that I've experienced and things that I've read and researched. And also because from cradle to grave we are given a certain version of reality. Boom! Education system, peer pressure, media, all the way through to actually go and encompass the possibility of what I'm saying. But it's like Gandhi said, even if you're in a minority of one, and I'm not anymore, far from it, but even if you're in a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. And it doesn't become an untruth because people can't find the capacity to see it's possible. It's just, people say, that's impossible, that can't be done, that's crazy. But what are they doing? They're just looking at something from a certain point of observation. And if their point of observation has been just to take in the programming that's imposed upon us from the first moment we become conscious in this reality, then they'll see it in a certain way and they'll say, that's crazy. But if you spend 22 years researching it, you're looking at it from a completely different point of observation, and to you, it's blatantly bloody obvious. And it's bringing those 2 points of view together that's the challenge, because what is happening in the world and what's behind what is happening in the world is so massively different, fundamentally almost indescribably different to what we're told is happening, that's the chasm that is probably more than anything else the greatest defense vehicle that this conspiracy has. It is so extraordinary that people think it's not possible, and anyone that talks about it must be crazy. But it is changing.
All right. On the other hand, I just wanted to ask that people waking up and people are coming to your lectures now to the thousands, and you have full halls, and you want to do a big event in the Wembley arena with probably thousands of people. So it's important, if you know all these things, that they're pretty frightening, that we are being manipulated for thousands of years. On the other hand, we are divine consciousness, you said, and we just have to change our perception. What can we do now that we know that we are being manipulated? How do we get out of it, and can we get out of it?
Well, you have to go deep in the rabbit hole for this, and of course you're constantly going deeper or trying to go deeper, but see, there are many aspects to this. When again you scan the ancient world, including texts that came through to be things like Genesis and the Bible, there is another common theme, and that is that there was an interbreeding. I'm sure it was direct interbreeding, but interbreeding. There was genetic manipulation of the human form, and this is my view after 22 years of researching this and the information coming to me. Before this force hijacked our reality, humans were very different, and it's so different. I won't call them humans, I'll call them earth people. And they were a heart-censored society, in the sense that, you know, we have this holographic body, and interpenetrating all the different levels of the human form, energetic and holographic, are vortexes that have become known as chakras, wheels of light, as they call them in Asia. Vortexes which interpenetrate these different energy fields. And it seems there are 7 basic ones, foundation ones, many others, but foundation ones, going up through the human form, and this one is the key, the heart. This vortex connects us to way out there, to far higher, more expanded levels of awareness than anything else. And there's an organization in America, it's called the Institute of Heart Math, and they research the power of the heart.
Heart math.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And they have found, they've been doing it for a long time now, they have found that the most powerful electromagnetic field in the body field of electromagnetic fields is the heart. There are more nerves going from the heart to the brain than coming the other way. And that when the heart energetic field is in what they call coherence, in other words, balance, and connects in coherence with the central nervous system and the brain, that trinity, if you like, when it comes into harmony, takes the person into a much higher level of awareness and consciousness. Mm-hmm. The key is the coherence of the heart field. Once you knock that out, you knock everything out, and what's left then as the arbiter and decider of reality? This. Now, this is a great servant to this. Mm. It's not a great master when it's in control of our perception of reality. And there's another vortex in the belly, which is about emotions. This is why when people feel nervous or frightened, they feel it in the belly. And you know, they need to go to the toilet. It's because the imbalance caused by the fear and nervousness in the chakra, the vortex linked to emotions, is affecting the balance or imbalancing in the same way the intestinal system and what have you. And what they've done to pull humanity into a low vibrational, brain dominated perception is they've moved the point where we interact with reality from the heart to the belly. Hmm. They've done it genetically because, as I said in my last book, Remember Who You Are, I'm saying that on the level of human DNA that they call junk DNA, which is anything up to 98% non-coding DNA, they call it junk DNA because they don't know what it does. Well, some cutting-edge scientists, not least in Russia and some in America, are pointing out that actually within so-called junk or non-coding DNA is a language, and it's a very it's a language that you can see and you can uncover, and it operates very much like human language. It has many of very closely the traits of how human language is sequenced. This is how this language, as they call it, within so-called junk DNA is sequenced. And they're talking about the fact that the human language, which is what? Vibrational fields. That's what it is. We hear the words, but only when the brain decodes them. Mm-hmm. What's passing between me and you now is not the words and what people are hearing. What's passing between me and everybody is not words. It's a vibrational information field generated by my vocal cords. Mm-hmm. People are only hearing the words when they decode that information.